Alright guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Shout out to all the subscribers as always, and gratitude to anybody new. So there's a video floating around, Tim Tszyu on his defense basically. He's got one of his co-trainers put him through the ropes. He's got these little foam sticks. And I wanted to break it down and analyze some of the things he was doing because I found it really interesting. And in this video as well, I'm going to talk about the history of one of the moves he does, which I've spoken about, which is the shoulder roll or a catch and counter, which is something I'll go into it in the video, but I want to go into deeper detail and I want to bring you some clips up from 15 years ago.
Look, you can come here, or you can come anywhere, up top.
I want to talk about Virgil Hunter, who talks about the science of part of this defense.
Well, he broke it, just like catching an egg. You know, you gotta guide it into your hands and the egg toss. You know what I'm talking about.
And how you break some of the force. Okay, it's really interesting. I found it really interesting too, but I want to show you when Tim Tszyu is doing that, why he's doing that, and what else it helps with his counter-punching system, because it puts his body in the right place and it takes the steam off the punch. Okay, so let's get into the video.
Boxing.
Before I even begin, watching this, I've noticed that his upper body movement is getting a lot better. And it's one thing about Tim Tszyu that I absolutely adore, is the fact that he is constantly trying to get better and better and better. And that is just a dedication to the sport, you know, just a desire to be the best version of himself. And if you know about this channel, I'm all about that, about heart and skills, and he's got all three. And you know, like his activity last year, just his progression as a fighter and his desire to be the best, and just little clips like this where I see, okay, that fluidity's coming. He's got a bit of head movement that I'll show a bit later on in this. Granted, this is a training exercise, so he doesn't have anybody punching him, but I can just see his fluidity and his relaxed demeanor, and this is where it gets, you know, this is where the steel gets sharpened essentially. Okay, just repetition, 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 and you know, he's looking a lot smoother. But as I mentioned, I've done a full video on this. Okay, I'll leave the link up if you haven't seen it. But in that video, I spoke about his concentration ability, and also what he does with his forearms too, his shoulder rolling ability, and we're going to talk about that in this. But if you see it, I'll play the clip whilst I'm talking. But a lot of this is based off his concentration, his rhythm, timing of catching the shots, and just, you know, forearm blocking as well, which he does do a lot of. And gauging the distance too. Okay, his step back game, which is just the most powerful thing in boxing defensively. It's just a little step back, but it's getting the timing right to defuse your opponent. Okay, if you have a good step back game, which his is getting better and better and better, just like everything else, then you know, you can really defuse your opponent really easily. And you know, as I said, it's a powerful tool, and he practices it a little bit in here. And as I said, the more repetition he does this, he can bring it into the fight. And I'm expecting an even better version against Keith Thurman. See right here, he parries like this. He'll catch here, and then he'll catch here. Bop, 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 like that, and it's just conditioning his muscles and his his forearms to come back up here. And it's so subtle, but he's never really out here with it, right? You want to be here because you want to protect yourself. You don't want any shots coming through. So little tidy little moves like this. And if you notice, he's moving the shoulders too. This, if you catch a shot here, can set up that, right? This can set up that. We'll talk more about that, but it's the subtle shoulder movements that I find really interesting, because he really gets it quite beautiful, right? And his head movement here, as I said, you'll see it creep in, because there's a few people that have commented, and they're not wrong. They say I'd like him to see it get a bit more head movement. I can't get my words out. A bit more head movement. That's coming, and you know, I've seen signs of it in here, as I mentioned already. Right. This move right here, okay, this is what is really interesting to me. I'll pull up a clip right now from Floyd Mayweather talking about the exact move.
Shoot the hook. You can come here, or you can come, you can anywhere, Up top.
So yeah, it's called a catch and shoot, and you can catch and shoot anywhere, right? I could catch a hook here, I could hook with the same hand, I could catch it here, shoot on the inside, I could catch here, uppercut. And like it basically, if your opponent is shooting, right? If you look, I'll slow this down. You can see the little foam stick, right? Let's just say that's the boxer's arm, okay? The boxer's arm is on Tim Tszyu's elbow, okay? So it's not by the chin. So there's a split second opportunity for you to shoot an uppercut. That's why it's done. And that's a big part of catch and shoot wherever you shoot, is when you catching a shot, it means their fist is on your hand and it's not on their chin. So there's a boom, you got a quick a couple of milliseconds to get that shot off. And he's practicing it here, and look at his base, which is his shape is really good. He's tucked in like that, okay? So if he doesn't want to throw the uppercut, the left hook is there because his shoulder's set up, and it's just a really beautiful old move. But as I showed you the footage from Mayweather, this is done. It's a very Midwest thing. They do it a lot on the East Coast too. We're going to get into the history of that. Georgie Benton from Philadelphia was one of the pioneers of the shoulder roll, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But I want to show you this clip again, because this is something. I'll show you a similar clip that he's done in a real fight against Tony Harrison. It wasn't down here. It was, I think it was a shot that Harrison threw to here, and he threw an uppercut back.
To być może Amerykanin znalazłby się 100-latek. Pojawiały się nagłówki mówiące o tym.
It's the same thing. Someone's shooting at you, you shoot back because their hand is not on their chin. Catch and shoot, block and shoot, whatever. Same thing. See right there? Boom, he's throwing in the hook. Catch it here, bam. And it's just the position of the shoulders. If I'm coming in here, I'll push this shoulder back, hook. If I don't push the shoulder back and I just block it like this, it's way harder to get the hook in because it's a bit more suffocated, right? But if I turn like that, not only are you taking the sting out of it, I'll get onto that right now after that, right? Taking the sting off it. So imagine you're guiding an egg. That is a Virgil Hunter quote, which I found fascinating, right? Think about it, right? If you're catching an egg, you don't want to catch it like that. It will just crack everywhere. But if you do it like that, you'll take the sting off it. And it's like that when you're blocking shots. Not always, depending on what you want to do with it. But you're guiding it in like that. You're pushing your shoulder up here. Boom, like that. Here's the clip from Virgil Hunter.
So his instinct is to turn in. So when you go for it, he broke it, just like catching an egg. You know, you gotta guide it into your hands in an egg toss. You know what I'm talking about. So he egg tosses your punch. He just rolls it in. But then you can't see the right hand, right? He's got options. Now he can come straight, he can come up, he can come around.
And I'll show you a clip of exactly what he's talking about. It's really when Mayweather's doing the shoulder roll, okay? Boom, you take that and you're breaking the shot.
Not close. He's outboxed this guy. He's standing straight up right now, and Cotto still can't get to him. Brains to the end of his fist.
Okay, you're taking the sting off of it. It's kind of like a car crash, right? If you have two cars that smash into each other like that, or one of them is going like that and it breaks, it's a bit of a darker analogy, but essentially you're not having the full force. And like if you just stay here with the shoulder, and so let's just say Canelo just whacks the shoulder like that, it's going to push him back more. But if you do that, you're breaking the rhythm of the shot. It's all science. That's the sweet science in full effect. And I'll show you some clips as well of Georgie Benton back in 1963, who was, as I said, a pioneer of the shoulder rolling against Ruben the Hurricane Carter.
Boxing.
And then that's Denzel Washington in the Hurricane movie. That was a real true story. And you know, they fought back in 63. But Georgie Benton, you can see, and I'll pull some clips up of Tim Tszyu doing it right now, where he's doing that and boom, comes back. I've spoken about this so many times in the last few months, just trying to drill it home and give you a bit of history and a scientific approach to it as well, which is, you know, one of the reasons why his defense is so good, so underrated. And, you know, his base too, right? It's really important when you have a good base. What do I mean by that? If you don't know what that means, your foundation, your balance, okay, your shape. You know, anytime a boxer's not in shape, they're more likely to get off balance. They're not as easy to defend themselves, and your technique isn't going to be as good when you're punching. It's probably top 2 or 3 most important things to do. Keep your base in shape, depending on your style. Tim Tszyu keeps it even better. Yes, this is the training regime, and to be honest with you, if there is a bit of a criticism, his shape could be better in real fights. It's still good, and he still does what he needs to do, and I think he'll get better at it. But sometimes it looks a little rigid. He's gotten less. Oh man, that was my battery. Just ran out. No, look, he's getting more and more fluid. Okay, I can see it from the Gaucher fight, where I really started to, you know, notice it a bit. Like from then to the Mendoza, I was like, okay, he's smoothing out a little bit. And as I said, I'm expecting a much better version against Keith Thurman. I really am. But let's get into some of his head movement. All right. Look at his concentration here, right? Forearm blocking like that. His eyes are just focusing, laser focusing. This is how you can practice it in real life, yeah? And it might seem a little playful, but it's conditioning, repetition, and it's just his catching. I remember I'll pull up another clip with Virgil Hunter when, you know, you saw Mayweather doing all the pad work and they kept touching him on the shoulder. It's conditioning. He's like that. It's the same thing with the forearms.
If you look at the midway over and over again, if you look at the midway, every time he throws a combination, what does Roger do? Taps him on the shoulder. Right? So that's ingrained, right? So his instinct is to turn in. So when you go for it, he broke it.
You know, drilling it into your psyche. So it's muscle memory, basically. Look at the head movement here. Look at this. Tell me he's not got good head movement. Fluidity. Little Ali shuffle. Telling you, he's going to be a problem. Big time. Because he's getting more and more fluid. I'm repeating myself at this point. But, you know, that's basically all I wanted to cover, really. I wanted to just talk about the science of it. I wanted to talk about, you know, the catch and shoot and how he sets his counters up by just little turns like that, If I catch a shot here, my right shoulder is back here, and boom, I can get maximum power. If I block here, my shoulder's here, bam, like that. If I catch here, boom. And, you know, he's just doing the little cute little things repeatedly, and it's beautiful to see, you know. And, you know, Keyshawn Davis is another one who can do a fantastic shoulder roll. Boots Ennis too, but you're going to be talking about his shoulder roll soon. I can almost guarantee it. I don't make guarantees, but I'm telling you, he's just desperate to get it better and better and better. And drills like this and videos like this fascinate me because we're seeing it in real life. And this is the work being done. He probably does this every day. Anyway, I've been rambling a little bit. It's getting hot in here. I'm sweating again. It's late night tonight, so it's kind of it was a beautiful day today. I went for a run. It was about 60 degrees and it was absolutely gorgeous. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a great day. It's Sunday today. Have a lovely week. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, but as always, it's got to come from here. And if you are new, welcome along. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed that and you want more videos. I've got a ton of videos coming this week. We're going to do the AJ breakdown a little bit. I've got keys to victory. I'm going to talk about Justice Honey. I think that's his first name. A couple of people have mentioned about him. I'm going to break his fight down. He's fighting Kevin Lorena, who fought Kevin Dubois. So that's actually a big step up. It's a decent fight. He's on the undercard. I was going to cover that Madrimov fight, which the Uzbek against the Russian, I forget his name, but that fight just got cancelled. I've got the Tszyu'S Carrington short documentary / film study that will be out this week, and then I'm working on the Nikita Tszyu film study, and then I've got that Bevo film study that is coming, and you know, by that time I'll probably want to put the editing down. But look, I'm out of here. All right, peace. I love you guys. Thanks.
Shoot jab, right hand.
Yeah.
You jab, right hand, left hook.
See, if you got to throw a jab, you can catch a jab right there.
throw a jab, right hand, you go here, pop, pop, pop.
Right there. Again.
Picking off all the shots.
Kicking off all the shots of a guy.
And without using any energy to do it.
You catch it right here, and then you can either take it and go right down the middle with it when you catch it, or you can take it like here and go up the middle like that.
Guide it into your hands in an egg toss. You know what I'm talking about.